The world just crossed a line it can never uncross. 19 days into this war, Israel did something unprecedented. They didn't just hit Iranian military targets, they struck South Pars, the largest natural gas field on planet Earth. 75% of Iran's gas production, gone. Within hours. Iran fired back, not at Israel, but at Qatar. They hit Ras Laffan, the single most important liquefied natural gas facility in the world. 20% of global LNG exports, burning, right now. Here's the nightmare scenario nobody's talking about. Both of these facilities sit on the same underground reservoir. Israel damaged one side, Iran torched the other, and the man caught in the middle. The Emir of Qatar just expelled Iranian diplomats while condemning the Israeli attack that threatens his own gas supply. So let me ask you this. When the world's energy infrastructure becomes the battlefield, when fertilizer supplies that feed 40% of humanity are at risk, when Trump threatens total annihilation of the same gas field he claims to be protecting, what happens next? Because we're about to find out. Welcome to Flashpoint, the only channel giving you unfiltered military and geopolitical analysis when the world is on fire. If you want to understand what's really happening while the mainstream media sleepwalks through World War III, hit that subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to break down for you will not be on the evening news. Let's reconstruct the timeline of March 18, 2026, the day the gas war began. At approximately 0400 hours local time, Israeli F-35I aircraft struck the South Pars gas complex in southern Iran. This isn't just any facility. South Pars represents 75% of Iranian natural gas production and sits on a shared reservoir with Qatar's North Field. Same geological formation, different countries pumping from it. This was the first time Israel has ever attacked Iranian gas infrastructure in this war. Now, according to Axios and the Wall Street Journal, the Trump administration gave the green light for this strike. The logic: signal consequences to Iran for threatening the Strait of Hormuz. Hit gas, not oil. Because gas wouldn't spike global prices as hard. Except that bet failed catastrophically, and we'll get to that. But here's where it gets interesting. Trump later denied any knowledge of the attack. He posted that Israel acted out of anger with no American involvement. So either the White House coordinated this strike and then lied about it, or Israel went rogue. Neither answer is comforting. Iran's response was immediate and devastating. They had already published a list of energy targets across the Gulf, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and ordered evacuations hours before the strike. They knew this was coming. At 11:30 hours, Iranian ballistic missiles launched toward multiple targets across the Gulf. The primary target, Ras Laffan, in Qatar. The world's largest LNG production and export complex, 20% of global gas exports flow through this single facility. Qatar's air defenses intercepted 4 out of 5 missiles. The fifth one, direct hit, extensive damage, fires still burning. And here's the kicker. Ras Laffan has been offline since March 2 from previous Iranian drone attacks. European gas prices had already spiked 50%. Now add another 6% overnight. But Iran didn't stop there. They fired at Saudi oil fields in the eastern province. They targeted Habshan and Bab in the UAE, the starting point of a pipeline that bypasses Hormuz entirely, carrying 1.5 million barrels per day. The UAE closed those facilities after intercepted missile debris rained down on them. Qatar's response was swift and unprecedented. They expelled all Iranian military and security attaches. This is a massive diplomatic break. Qatar condemned Iran's violation of their sovereignty and reserved the right to self-defense, but they also condemned Israel's strike on South Pars because it threatens the same shared reservoir that feeds Qatar's economy. They're caught in the crossfire, literally, and then Trump weighed in. He posted an explicit threat: if Iran attacks Qatari facilities again, the United States, with or without Israel, will destroy all of South Pars at a level of destruction Iran has never seen. Let that sink in. Trump is threatening to obliterate the same gas field that shares geology with Qatar's lifeline. The contradictions here are staggering. Now, let's talk about what this means militarily and why this escalation is so catastrophic. First, the weapon systems. Iran is using ballistic missiles against hardened energy infrastructure, not soft military targets. This tells us two things. One, they're willing to burn through their precision-guided missile stockpile on economic warfare. And two, they're betting that economic collapse will force a ceasefire faster than military defeat. Qatar's air defenses intercepted 80% of incoming missiles. That's a decent rate, but it's not good enough when you're defending critical infrastructure. 1 hit out of 5 caused extensive damage to Ras Laffan. That facility was already offline. It's not coming back online anytime soon, not while missiles are still flying. Now here's the game changer nobody's discussing. The Strait of Hormuz isn't militarily closed. There's no Iranian naval blockade, but it's functionally closed because insurance companies stopped covering tankers. No coverage, no shipping, 20,000 sailors are stranded on anchored vessels right now. No international naval coalition formed to escort ships. Germany, the UK, Greece, all refused. The US Fifth Fleet can't protect commercial shipping alone. Energy prices. Brent crude is over $118 per barrel, 50% higher than before the war. WTI hit $100. Diesel in the United States is over $5 per gallon. European gas spiked another 6% after today's attacks. Asian LNG prices were already up 39% before Ras Laffan got hit. But here's the real catastrophe: fertilizer. Nitrogen-based fertilizers depend on natural gas as feedstock. 40% of global food calories come from crops grown with these fertilizers. If gas supplies collapse, we're not just talking about expensive heating bills in Europe. We're talking about global famine within months. The International Energy Agency and the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve have released emergency stocks. Those cover days, maybe weeks, not months, not a sustained war. Let's zoom out and connect the dots, because this escalation didn't happen in a vacuum. 48 hours before the South Pars strike, Israel assassinated 3 high-ranking Iranian officials who had the potential to negotiate a ceasefire. Ali Larijani, the secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, the main survivor, after Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed on February 28. He was the guy with direct lines to Western capitals. Esmail Khatib, the intelligence minister. Brigadier General Golreza, Soleimani Basiji Commander. All dead. Netanyahu celebrated publicly. Trump said he doesn't know who to negotiate with in Iran anymore. Think about that. Israel systematically eliminated every Iranian official capable of picking up the phone and talking peace. And then the U.S. administration claims they want diplomacy. The funerals in Tehran turned into mass rage demonstrations. The new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, Ali's son, promised vengeance. And he delivered. Now the global response has been pathetic. The United States lifted some sanctions on Venezuela to increase oil supply. That's a band-aid on a bullet wound. Alternate routes are being explored. Kurdistan to Iraq to Turkey. Saudi oil via the Red Sea. But these are marginal compared to the volume that used to flow through Hormuz. Russia is watching this with popcorn. European dependence on LNG just became a Russian bargaining chip again. China is staying quiet, stockpiling reserves, and waiting to see if American power projection collapses in the Gulf. And nobody is talking about reconstruction. You can't rebuild gas facilities while missiles are flying overhead. Even if a ceasefire happened tomorrow, it would take months, possibly years, to repair the damage to South Pars and Ras Laffan. So where does this go from here? In the next 24 to 48 hours, watch for 3 things. 1. Does Iran hit Ras Laffan again? If they do, Trump's threat becomes real. And if the U.S. destroys South Pars completely, you're looking at permanent economic warfare. No going back. 2. Watch European governments. They're about to face civil unrest over energy prices and potential food shortages. If they pressure the U.S. to force Israel into a ceasefire, we might see the first crack in Western unity. 3. Watch Saudi Arabia and the UAE. They've been targets too. If they decide Iran crossed a red line by hitting their territory, they might join this war openly. That turns a regional conflict into a full Gulf War. But here's my assessment. There is no off-ramp right now. Israel eliminated the Iranian officials who could negotiate. Iran is destroying the economic infrastructure that funds the war. Trump is making contradictory threats that box in American options. And the global economy is bleeding out with every day this continues. Iran's foreign minister, Araghchi, claims Iranian infrastructure is still intact. Maybe, but the decision to escalate or de-escalate isn't about infrastructure anymore. It's about pride, revenge, and survival. And none of those things respond to logic. This is a war without brakes. And the catastrophe isn't what's already happened, it's what's coming in the next 72 hours. So I want to hear from you. Is this an escalation spiral that ends in total war? Or is this just brinkmanship before someone blinks? Drop your analysis in the comments because I genuinely want to know what you're seeing that I might be missing. This is Flashpoint. Subscribe, share this video, and stay sharp because the next 48 hours will define whether we're heading into World War III or just the worst energy crisis in human history. Either way, nobody's ready for what comes next.